Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming on this Wednesday. We made it to yet another week. I was a few minutes late. I had to wait for my tea to boil, or the water to boil for the tea. So it's great to see you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time out to learn about airbrushing and painting an angel and all that fun stuff. So let me give a shout out to some great people here. We have Dan Mayer all the way from Indianapolis. Great to see you. We have Roy. How's it going, Roy? All the way from Jersey. Great to see you, Roy. And Mr. Dave Gregory from Texas. All the way from Texas. Great to see you, sir. So glad you guys are here. And so D Cube, that's right. That's pretty cool. So that's neat. So great to see you, Dave. So that's fantastic. I'm going to zoom out. Let's see. I guess I zoomed in. So today I guess I want to work on different things. You know, maybe some edges. Softening up some edges will be fun. That sort of stuff. Let me zoom out a little bit. And let me see. Move my magnets out of the way. And so we're going really well. I think maybe we can concentrate on her wing a little bit. That might be fun. Michael McClung, how you doing? Love the Mona Lisa. Really happy the way that's coming out, my friend. I'm so glad that you're sharing that with us. It was a little early in the morning for me to see it. I do apologize, but I have been checking it out on repeat, which is good. Eastside 1019, great to see you. How are you today? I'm so glad you're here. And so that is so cool. And it's going to take me a couple of times, Eastside, but where are you from? Just so, because I always do that with everyone. But if you don't want to share it, that's okay. But it's great to see you nonetheless. So thank you. Eastside was here last week and this week. Thank you so much for coming. And oh, so Dan says she's looking good. Thank you. And Dave the Bug Gregory says Chicago. Now who's from Chicago? Eastside 1019? Well, that's cool. Very cool. So yeah, I think I want to start working on, so let me see if I can bring the picture of our beautiful angel here so you all can see what I'm working on. Let's see. I had some trouble earlier, so I'm going to go to image. Oh, good. So I think I do have the image that I'm working with. There we go. So you can see, you know, the general direction of what I'm doing, right? So that's good. And oh, that's great. No, it's really fantastic, Mr. Michael. That's really good. Chi-Town, very cool. That's cool. And so yeah, it's really great. I mean, I love Chicago. Great city. Astral, how's it going? Great to see you all the way from the UK. How are you today? So I don't know if I turned off my compressor. I don't think I did. But let me get rid of the ink that's in there. I got so many different paintings going. It's unbelievable how many paintings I have going. So I don't know if you all can see, but I have on the top of the chat is we have again, and this goal is to the end of the live stream, which is if I get 5 super chats of any size, whether it's $5, $10, whatever, the size is up to you guys. If I only get 5, there'll be a bonus live stream tomorrow at 12:30. Extra information, which will be great. A different time, so you know someone doesn't have to stay up late from the UK or something like that. So if I get 5 super chats by the end of the day, which is 2 hours, I'll do a second live stream tomorrow, which is great. So that's cool. So you guys be the judge. Oh, so Dave with the $10 super chat. We are on our way. One out of 5. So I appreciate that, Mr. Dave. Thank you. So that is great. So if we get 5, a 2-hour live stream tomorrow from 12:30 to 2:30. So that would really work out well. It gets me more practice. Oh man, a second super chat from Dave. Thank you, sir. So that puts us at 2. So 2, we are just 3 away. And once we hit 3, and with 3 more, then it's done. 12:30 tomorrow. An extra 2 hours of instruction, of hanging out, which is really great. And so, you know, there's been a lot less live streams from the Airbrush community because people are busy with SEMA and stuff. It's a good way to pick up the slack, you know, if that's what you guys, you know, request, you know. So that's really cool. So Dave, I just want to say thank you so much for your friendship. And it's a pleasure to work with you in the mentorship program. And thanks for hanging out always. It's always a pleasure, my friend. So always, always, always. So I made some freehand shields. And, oh, Dave said he won't be able to see it live, but look at it later. Yes, I'll make sure that I keep it in record. So that's good. So you can look at it at another time. Later in the day. Michael McClung, how's it going? Look at this. 3 out of 5. So thank you so much, Mike, for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that so much. That is fantastic. Colette, how are you? All the way from the Atlanta area. Very good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. So that is super cool. And I do have a wing stencil where I cover everything but the wing, so this way we don't get overspray on other parts of our painting. So that's really cool. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael, for your friendship and your support. It means a lot to me, and your encouragement watching you do your painting of the Mona Lisa, which is a fantastic piece of artwork and a great idea. That's fantastic. So we just need 2 more super chats, and we have a bonus live stream tomorrow. And that is cool. So it makes me work harder, right? I get to do more practice. Makes the painting of the angel go faster, which is really good. So it's a win-win. And you all get to see the painting develop a lot quicker, you know, because this painting, I vowed not to do anything outside of the live stream because I want you all to see my working method from beginning to end. That's important to me. So this way you don't miss anything. You can always watch the playlist of how to paint the angel. And so you can watch it from beginning to end, which is really great. Well, I'm not surprised how many people are loving the angel, because I think it's really amazing. It's just an amazing piece of artwork, that's for sure. So that's amazing. So, and so is it going to be this Saturday at 9 o'clock again, Mr. Michael? Colette with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. That brings us, believe it or not, to 4 out of 5. Thank you, Colette, for the wonderful super chat. That's incredible. Thanks so much for your support and your friendship and working with you in the mentorship program. It is a huge honor, and thank you so much. I appreciate you. So glad you're part of this community. So 4 out of 5. Wow. And Dave says, Will, or do you have the angel stencils for sale on the website? I actually do, Dave. Thanks for that. I'm going to go ahead and put that link in right now. Actually, the link's in the description field. So, you know, after the, you know, afterwards or during, you could go, anyone could go in a description field, and it has a link right to this. You get the paper with the drawing. You get all the stencils sent to you in a packet. and you just follow along from beginning to end, from the very beginning to the end, which is really great, you know. So I'm happy about that. So that's cool. And thanks for asking for that, sir. And okay. So you see this beautiful wing she has, very stunning. And so, and there are like, if we make this bigger, you can see there's some detail in here. And, but I would put the white in first. So my thinking is putting in the white in first. Then when I come in the darker, I won't have any blue shift, right? Because you always got to worry about blue shift. So that's something to always compensate for, because blue shift is a heck of a thing trying to fix, you know? It really is. So we're going to go with your favorite in mind, the Createx 50/50 Illustration White, designed by Mr. Drew Blair, a genius in the airbrush world, that's for certain. And we're going to use 4011. And so we have 4011 and this. One of the reasons why I'm thinking of doing 4011 as opposed to water with the illustration, because I'm mostly working with Wicked paints, so this will assimilate a lot better. So that's why. That's my reasoning. So very cool. Thanks, Colette, for the super chat. That is wonderful. So right now at 12:30, I'm just going to be chilling, but one more super chat and it's going to be a live stream that will be recorded. And I'm going to take our favorite 4011, and I'm going to do 1-to-1. I'm not doing like in the beginning of the light mixture, the white mixture in the beginning. So I'm going to do 1-to-1. I want a little bit thicker. Not thicker as far as thick for the airbrush, but better coverage is probably better to say that. And everyone knows I have my plastic palette knife, which I use all the time, like right here, and this, and I'm not going to mix it over my painting. That would be bad. So let's see. And that's at inkflingers.com. Okay, so things are looking pretty good. Now here's something, if we have any oil painters out there. I have some oil, I painted in oils today, and I have some rags that have oils in it. Throw them away, far away, because if you use them, you know, while working with water-based paints like this, you can cause some really weird problems that could really explode. Mr. Bobby, how's it going? Great to see you. You can get a film on your painting, accidentally put it on there with oils, and it just won't accept your acrylic paint, whether it's Wicked or illustration. It just won't accept it. It will be horrible. Mr. Rick, how's it going? So we have Mr. Bobby all the way from Cape Cod, and Mr. Rick all the way from Canada. Great to see you. How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for hanging. I appreciate it. Oh, great news. So Dave says the splatter spots are almost gone. It just, me and Dave are working together on a painting in the mentorship program. And we had a little accident, and we were able to fix it. But the thing is, whenever you make a mistake on a painting, especially airbrush, you just have to stop, assess, and then figure out how to do it. And Dave did a wonderful job, so that's really cool. So I have my Extreme Patriot Arrow. I was using some India ink earlier, so I have to fix that. And just make sure I have my water and a clean rag that had nothing to do with oil paints. And we're going to clean this out, and we're going to put in that white mixture. Now we're not putting any orange in there because we're not getting rid of, we're not worried about blue shift. It's just straight orange, straight white on there, so we don't have to worry. And now I'm just going to flush this. Flush my Extreme Patriot Arrow. And I always clean my cap, because the cap could really cause some problems. Just sneakily get some paint in on your well, and then before you know it, my angel has gray wings, and that's not good. She shouldn't have gray wings. Oh, cool. So, Bobby, yes, how's your channel coming along? I'd love to hear how it's going. That's great. All right, here we go. White mixture, Extreme Patriot Arrow. And everyone knows me. It's like always test on your scrap paper. Never test on your painting. Because 9 out of 10 you'll be okay, but that 10th time, oh no, it won't be fun. So we always got to make sure we test on a test paper. And usually you want it to be similar than the painting. So I'm just going to come here. And really nice flow. So I also check. I put down the trigger and make sure that no paint's coming out without pulling back. So those are real concerns, and you want to make sure you ascertain that information on your scrap piece of paper. Now, her wing, if we look at her wing, is kind of irregular, kind of broken up. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, and it's nice and broken up. I'm going to be using this as my my edge here. Let's see. We'll see how it goes, right? What's the worst that could happen? Just want to make sure I match that. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but just like maybe right here. And here goes nothing. And I'm probably about 3 inches away, maybe. And you don't want to oversaturate. Too wet, too bad, you know. So you just make sure that you are not oversaturating. It's always best to let it dry and do another layer, without exception. And then we'll lift this up. Well, look at maybe, yeah, let's lift this up. See how good or bad it looks? Okay, nice irregular quality, but the fact that it's a paper towel, it makes it nice and soft. So you have an edge, but it's nice and soft, which is great. And we'll do the same over here. It's nice and irregular. Okay. And that wing is really bright, so we'll just crawl down the surface nice and slow. Okay, so she's starting to look pretty good. Let's get this image out of the way here. There we go. And right here it's super fuzzy. So I'm going to leave it kind of loose because I want it to be fuzzy, right? Okay, super fuzzy over here. We'll let it dry. We'll give it another shot, which will be good. So that's cool. Yeah, so it's so important to, we were talking with Dave how important it is whenever, something happens, when there's spilling of ink or so many different things that can happen. As long as we step away from a situation, assess it, and then have a calculated game plan, chances are we'll be able to save it. And if not, we learn a lot from it. Okay, so we'll take this off and we'll look at that. So yeah, so okay, I'm starting to get really happy with this. Colette says, Tim, what are the odds that the paper towel gets saturated? Oh, it will, but it's kind of absorbent, right? So it's like Viva. So really, if it does get saturated, you're doing too much, right? So we always want to err on the side of, you know, of just being careful and knowing that we can do a lot of layers, right? Her wing is like really beautiful, pure white. And it's great because when we finish this and lift it up, we're going to see that we can even go lighter in her skin because it'll help with the contrast. So that's good. Right over here we have a nice soft wing here. So this is really nice and soft. So we don't need the any kind of shield or anything if it's super soft. There we go. And of course white's going to get blue shift, so that's cool. And great question, Colette. Thank you for that. Okay, I'm out of white. We're going to put more in. And it's funny, when you have the Mylar shield on here, you might think, oh, it doesn't look that light. But when we lift it, we're going to be like, whoa, right? That's what's going to happen. So get ready when I lift this. Get ready to go, whoa. So remember, one more super chat. We have 4 super chats right now. If we get one more, there's going to be an extra live stream tomorrow, which is going to be amazing. We're going to continue with this, go even deeper with this portrait of the angel. I think I'll do a lot of paintbrush technique tomorrow. I'm going to work on her dress, right? Her blouse, so we don't see it, but just over here. That will be fun. So that would be great. Astral, how's your son in Japan? How's he doing? On this edge, it's nice and bright, so we're just going to come right here. Oh, thank you so much. So Bobby says, nice intro video made for the stream. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm upping my presentation skills because I'm going to be doing new online courses and using that kind of technology, which is going to be really great for the classes, the online courses to have, very understandable, crisp, clean, that sort of thing. And now this is so light, I can lighten this part of her wing, the shadow part. Okay, so let's take a look. See how good or bad it looks. Let's see. It is warm here in New Jersey, New York City, New Jersey area. It went up to 82 degrees today. That's really something for November 6th. Okay, so look how the wing's starting to look really nice, really beautiful. So that's what we want. So I have some tea with lemon. So you see right there, I got to get the tea bag out. I'm sure it's brewed enough. That's why I was a few minutes late for the live stream. I had to wait for that to actually brew. So Bobby says it's warm there too in Cape Cod. Such weird weather, right? So you see how we can build up the lights when working with the airbrush, you know, in the white. We can just build it up. And you see now we have this nice luminous quality of the shadow of the wing. It's going to have a very nice light glow because we're getting the reflected light off of the white feathers. So that's why we're getting that kind of look. Right now I'm about 8 inches away. I just want to glow that. I want to get that glow here. She's heavenly, right? So we got to make sure we give her heavenly qualities. Yes, for November, so true. So what are some of the projects that artists are working on out there? Any side paintings? Any ideas for paintings that are percolating in your head? So I would love to hear that. There we go. So we're going to let that dry. I'm liking that a lot. So I'm going to clean out my Extreme Patriot 105 with the big cup. And let's see if I can clean that out. And that's going to take some water and some 4011 to get rid of what's in there. Oh, it's fantastic. So Dave, you got a commission to paint a helmet. That's amazing. Congratulations, sir. That is amazing. So 3 cheers for Mr. Dave. I'm all for people making money with their art because this is a habit that costs money. And Mr. Mike has a lot of ideas in his head. Yeah, Mike, you have some great ideas for paintings. Just amazing. Really loving it. Loving what you're doing. Your energy, and you know, it really is contagious, Michael, so keep that up, you know. Astral says he's working on an A2 of the head of Apollo found at the Venetian Bridge Keystone. Wow. So A2 size paper and the head of Apollo found in the Venetian Bridge Keystone. That's incredible. Wow. That's going to be really wonderful. So it's in that ancient Greek style of sculpture. I love that stuff. That's like my fave. It's interesting how when they were originally done, they were painted. It's just we see them in the state of ruin, but they were all painted like, you know, really bright colors and everything. I found that interesting. I'm just getting rid of all the paint and cleaning out this airbrush here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with that really light yellow color, and we're going to start defining some of these wings. I'm going to start doing it with the eraser. Hey there, Mr. Nick, how's it going? Great to see you. How are you, Nick? How's everything? And Nick, you're from Oklahoma, is that correct? I always get it wrong, Nick. I apologize. Air Todd from San Diego, how's it going? Great to see you. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. So Mr. Nick is pinstriping Studebaker wheels. Wow, that's really beautiful. That's a great job. And Astral says he's enjoying depicting light and stone sculptures. Yes. And Nick says close, Minnesota. Thanks. Not too bad, right? Just a couple of states south. Thanks for understanding, Nick. Great to see you. So that's cool. And I'm going to take the needle out, and I want to clean that really well. So great. That's so cool, Nick. And what a great group we have today. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it so much. I appreciate you all. It's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. And so just make sure you let me know how you're doing. Any questions you have, make sure you ask me that. I want you to get as much as you can from these live streams. There's no question that's a bad question. Every question is a good question. So never hesitate. You know, even if it's like, well, what PSI you use, Tim? Or, you know, how do you clean the needle? Anything like that might seem, you know, not an important question. But if it's a question you guys or girls have, it's an important question, I feel. Okay, so I think I'm pretty clean here. And we're going to try erasing first. I'm not a big eraser guy, as everyone knows, because of the paper I choose and everything like that. So that's pretty much where that comes from. And let's see. Okay, so it is so hot here. I just can't tell you. I don't have a fan. I should have a fan. Definitely. Let's see. Michael says, I did not understand the answer of the question I had about why they call it India ink. Oh, India ink is an ancient form of ink, Michael. It goes way back, centuries, and it originated in India, and it's a special kind of ink. It's just very simple, made of carbon, which is like burnt wood, water, and shellac to hold it together. And that's been the recipe for centuries, you know. And I love it because the India ink is waterproof, which is really great for working with something like this. Now the other inks you see, like FW inks and all the other inks, they're really not inks because they're acrylic. So they're not really inks, they're a different animal. They're very watered down pigment that has a binding of acrylic, but to be a pure India ink, it has to have a binding of shellac. Mr. Gary, how's it going? Great to see you. How's everything? So glad you're here. So Gary from Hershey, Pennsylvania, so good to see you, my friend. And thanks for hanging out here on a Wednesday. I really appreciate you. And Nick says Black Magic has, as Dave Bell would say. Yeah, there is an India ink. Like Higgins is a brand of ink, right? They have one called Black Magic, but I find that ink is a really nice dark flat black. But it is India ink, but it's not waterproof. But I like the real India ink, which is waterproof. And the one that I use to mix my inks, you know, are the Speedball brand, which is really great. So Wendy, how's it going? Great to see you, Wendy. I'm so glad you're here. Wendy says she's beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. So that is really wild. Great to see you. So now what I want to do is I'm going to bring in Pure Ref. Close this out. And let's bring in Pure Ref of our angel. There she is. And so we're going to do some detail on the angel's wing here. So let's see how that goes. Oh yes, a lot of so true. When I went to art school in the city, we had cartoon majors, you know, who did comics for DC and Marvel, and some of them are still doing it. And Black Magic was pretty much the ink of choice by Higgins. And it's a good ink, actually a wonderful ink, but it's just not waterproof. And for airbrushing, we need it to be waterproof, right? So maybe I need a little bit more of an aggressive eraser. So I have this one. It may be aggressive to a fault. Let's see. Make sure there's no color on here. Astral says he tried Winsor and Newton inks once and they were too transparent for usual. Yes, you know, I do like the Winsor and Newton inks. They're very good. And there was another brand I used. I think it was Winsor and Newton. But they're still, most of them, with the different colors, they're always acrylic based, which is no longer an India ink. So I hope that helps, Michael. If you have any other questions about it, please let me know. But India ink is great because it does everything I want it to do. The fact that it is waterproof and it dilutes really great. It doesn't trap pencil lines like acrylic ink will. So that's why it just pretty much checks all my boxes, you know. And Nick says, oh, Wendy says, what kind of paper? Well, this is the Colorline paper by Canson, Wendy. And what I did was I did an Airbrush India ink painting on this. And then when I was happy with the underpainting, I went ahead and shellacked it. And after shellac, I started working with Createx, Wicked, and Illustration colors. And so great questions all around. Yeah, definitely. Nick says he did the Henry Hearst cartoon in the back of the Street Rodder magazine for many, many years. Oh, how cool is that, Nick? Thanks for sharing that. And Dave says, Tim, do you strain your acrylic paints before using them? Sometimes. If I get away with not doing it for a while, I'm not going to do it, right? That's just human nature, right? If we can get away with not doing it, we're not going to do it. But once, you know, I don't do it and then I get a really nice clog, then I start straining it again, you know. But I have a good run without having clogs for a while, so that's why you're going to see me not straining. So this right here, which is the Eberhard Faber Single X, they're no longer available. You can't buy them. So this is a great one because I'm having the ability to erase the white really nicely to get some detail. So that's fantastic. And oh, the blue, yeah. So it was the original gray paper. I'll show you the back, Wendy. So it's the original paper, right? But I went ahead and painted that color in because it's from the, it's, you know, I was matching the color from the painting, from the reference photo. And Michael says, yeah, we were thinking of India ink goes back so far because so much colors that they had back then in their artwork. Yeah, you know, a lot of colors weren't invented until the 1800s, believe it or not. Like purple. Here's a quick thing about purple. Purple existed, but the only people who had purple were the Phoenicians. And the only way they made purple was to take a sea snail and they had to squeeze a gland out to get the purple dye. But it was like 250,000 sea snails they needed to kill to make one purple robe. So it was so expensive, the equivalent one purple robe would be like $2 million today. So if you look, only very rich royalty had purple, and there was no purple in paints back in the day. Same thing with blue. Blue was only made with a stone called lapis lazuli, and that was on the hills of Afghanistan. So you can imagine how expensive that was. So there was this one kid, he was a chemist major in England, and he was on spring break. And during spring break, he wanted to find a cure for polio or some disease. And as he was trying to make the cure, he fell asleep and he was making different chemicals. And when he woke up, it was a total disaster, except on the bottom of the beaker was this purple substance. So he found out a way to synthesize purple. And he became like a billionaire by today's standards. He opened up all kinds of factories, and all the purple really, if you think about it, all originated from him, still his formula. So I think that's amazing. So isn't that cool about purple? Same thing with blue. Prussian blue was the first synthesized blue, and he was trying to make a red, and purple and Prussian blue came out, and that's basically why you see a lot of blue these days. Those pigments were really hard to get. They were like really expensive. So you see, I'm starting to get some of the detail just by erasing. And even when I erase, I kind of do like dagger strokes, right? Just soft dagger strokes. And I'm happy with it because it's creating nice texture, you know. And so Nick says there was a video on YouTube explaining that exact fact. Yes, that's the video I think I've seen. It's really good. And Astral says he started using the card from cereal boxes to paint on. Very cool. Cutting them and painting on the inside gray surface. That's so true, Astral. You know? Ah, Caput Mortem. Yeah, don't get me started on that, Colette. That's also from alchemy, right? Alchemists were trying to, the whole thing of alchemy is to make something out of something else, like trying to make gold from non-precious metals and stuff like that. And Caput Mortem means dead head. So that came from dead bodies, synthesizing dead bodies, and that Caput Mortem came out of it. Really scary stuff. But very interesting, right? And if you look at the color Caput Mortem, which not many paint companies have it anymore, because it was outlawed for a while. And now there's a synthetic version using different pigments, but it's not made out of dead heads anymore. So Caput Mortem actually means... I heard it means dead head in Latin. Caput. I think that's German Caput. So now I'm just doing some very, very delicate, very subtle wing shapes here. Not going too crazy. Yeah, Caput Mortem in pastels is great. We should get a Caput Mortem. We should ask the great people at Createx to make a Caput Mortem. It really is a great shortcut color for making skin tones. It really is. So that is fantastic. So yeah, I'm really into pigments, and I find that oil paint, being an oil painter, really, how do I say? It really is a good complement to being an airbrush artist because you get deeper with the pigments, it's a little more of a deeper experience working in oils, but you can actually bring that into your airbrushing, which is great. And just doing some of the fuzziness of the wing here. Just getting it to look a little bit more like her wing. Feathers, right? That's it. Gary says he's been seeing a lot of great coverage and artwork from SEMA. Got to get there one of these years. Yeah, I hear it's fantastic over there, Gary. That's amazing. I know we got people like Scott McKay over there, which is great, and which is, really good for the airbrush world. I always send my prayers out to Mr. Corey St. Clair. I hope he's doing good. Does anyone know how he's doing? Is he going to be at SEMA? I know he had a health battle, so I pray he's doing good. And how is Mr. Kyle doing, Gary? Any really good advances? he's getting stronger and everything. I know he's coming home for Thanksgiving or this weekend, right? So there was a YouTube video, I believe Gary, not Gary, Nick, that Mr. Corey St. Clair has, I think he has the C word, cancer. So he's actually fighting that. So I pray he's doing okay. And he's such a talented artist. My God, he's just super talented. No one can take that away from that guy. He is just incredible. I have a lot of different erasers. I kind of collect erasers. And it's always good to collect erasers, you know, especially when we do this kind of stuff. This is a gum eraser by design. This is a Factice. It's like really hard, almost like a rock, you know. Yeah, it is. So I pray he's doing really well. And I'm hearing great things about Kyle, which is wonderful, Gary. I'm so happy. Happy for you and your family and for Kyle and Kyle's girlfriend. That's amazing. This is a nice one. It's like a gum eraser. Actually, it's called a plastic eraser by Sanford. Oh, Kyle will be released by Thanksgiving. And he continues to progress with his physical therapy. Incredible. That is wonderful, Gary. So, it's going to be a great Thanksgiving for you and your family. I mean, just amazing. So this is great. This is the plastic eraser. And that seems to be working really well. What I bring to the table for the airbrush world, which I always did, I come from the fine art world. So I bring a lot of different materials and stuff and solutions that, you know, I get from that fine art world. And Dave says, yeah, thanks for that, Tim. His eraser collection has grown over the last month. Yes, we got to make sure you got to have a whole drawer of erasers. And when we get there, then we could slow down with the erasers. And Michael says, the picture looks good with his brother Gary. Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, I think it was like a month ago. I think Corey has a health scare with cancer. So my prayers are always for him. He posted that on his Facebook channel. So we should all always pray for Mr. Corey, making sure he's doing great, you know. I don't keep up with his channel, so right, his YouTube, his Facebook page too much. Eastside says, good night, everyone. Have a pleasant and blessed night. Eastside, thanks for hanging. It's always a pleasure. So I know you're in Chicago next week. I won't forget. And thank you so much for hanging out, guys. I mean, Mr. Eastside, I appreciate you so much. And Astral says his Apollo painting is on canvas board, which hasn't any gessoed very well. So when I make a mistake on it, I can use sandpaper. That's fantastic. Oh, that's a great idea. Thanks for that tip, Astral. Now I'm going to come back with the white mixture here. And we're going to add a little more wing. Just get a little more feathery over here. Yes, it does. Definitely, Gary. So true. Prayers work. So, Wendy, it's great to see you all the way from Texas. How have you been? Wendy has been a friend of the channel for a very long time. She is really cool and very talented artist. She works in pastel. She works in airbrush, just incredible. She designs websites. She's a force to be reckoned with, that Wendy. Now we're just starting to get a little bit of a feather, soft feathery look. Michael says having that eraser in our arsenal works out really good. Yes, so true. Is that this one, my friend? I love that one. Whenever I'm at the art store, I always pick up an eraser I haven't seen before. Because they all have, you know, a different job. You know, they all do something. Definitely, they have their own pluses and minuses. There's always the right tool for the right particular job. So you see how I'm gaining the feather technique, right? Having it look. Now here we have a real soft edge of the feather, so I'm just going to spray right on the edge, just soften that up, give it kind of a dreamy look. Gary says Steve will be painting a 59 BMW for Kyle this week. Part of it was Michael's generous 543. Ah, that is so great, Gary. That is so true. Thank you for that, Michael. That is amazing. So I can't wait to see. I know Mr. Leahy's going to do something absolutely incredible. It's not hard to start to get, you know, the indication of feathers, right? You can see I'm not doing that much, and it's coming out pretty believable already. You know, we just have to take our time and kind of layer these feathers. Colette, thank you for the $10. Is that your second one, Colette? Let's see. Or is that your first one, Colette? Colette, thank you so much. Oh, that's your second super chat. Thank you, Colette. So, Colette, that means we hit 5, and that means we will have a live stream tomorrow at 12:30, continuing the beautiful angel. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much. 2 weeks in a row, we hit our 5 super chats, which is amazing. So thank you so much. Here I went a little bit wet right down here, but that's okay. You get a little bit of a spidering, but nothing that's going to ruin your day, that's for sure. Oh, see that? Everyone is congratulating Colette. Thank you so much. Colette is just incredible. Thank you, Colette. I really appreciate you. So it's so important that I don't go too wet with this. It's very, very crucial. And I'm just going to soften up this part over here. I'm trying not to get hard edge because feathers are very soft edge, right? And so that's really great. And Michael says today he donated the ambulance painting that he did to the fire department. They love it, and they're going to put it in their office. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that one. And that was on clayboard. How did you like working on the clayboard? I remember you saying you didn't like it as much as other surfaces. Is that true? Did I remember that correctly, Dave, Mr. Michael? And I have this thing, once I cover the whole painting, you know, then it's getting close to the end, right? That's how it's getting close to the completion of it, which is really good. So I'm liking the feathers so far, and I may go ahead and get a little more luminosity over here, but I'm pretty happy thus far. Maybe up the contrast, but I still want to go ahead and keep the which is important to compress values. I'm going to use the young man's room. I'll be right back. And I promise to be fast. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Hey everyone, thank you so much for waiting. I'm back. I appreciate yous. So that is Probably the best part of my live stream is when I'm using the facilities. So let's see what I missed. Let's see. Someone says, Gary, Colette outbid you. Let me see. Uh, so that's funny. You guys are funny. And so, yes, so that's cool. Thanks, Colette, again. That's amazing. And let's see what else I missed. Anything? Oh, Colette says she misses Chicago pizza. Okay, that's cool. And so that's neat. Oh, you know why? Because the system says 3 super chats, but I'm also including super stickers. So either super chat or super stickers. So I think 2 people got super stickers instead of super chats, but I make it count anyway. So that's cool. So we definitely hit our goal, which is wonderful. And I thank everybody for that. And so that's great. And so I know we can do more detail on the feathers, so I'm happy with that. But yes, exactly, Dave. I count them anyway because it's all the same to me, you know. So I use the super chat goal as, you know, a counter, but you know, anything that's, you know, $10 on up is counts, whether it's a super chat or super sticker for the extra live stream the day after, which is a lot of fun. I have fun hanging out with you all, so you know, it's a win-win, definitely. So I have this, and now I think what I'm going to do something interesting. Like this is, hopefully this was interesting too, but I'm going to do something interesting because we want to create the background, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it today. But we'll see, right? Okay, I think we'll be okay. Let's see. So here is covering up our beautiful angel here. So we'll cover her up just like so. There we go. And so we'll cover her up. And always put the magnets right on the edge because you don't want underspray, right? So we want to avoid that if possible. Cool. Dave says, don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate that, everybody. Thank you, sir. So we're going to cover this part up so we don't get overspray on her beautiful face, right? We don't want that. And now I got to look for the wing. I think I have the full wing covering. Let's see. Yes, I do. So one of the free moments where I have all of the correct freehand stencils. And I'm just going to put my glasses on. So we're covering her up, and I want to kind of work on some of the bokeh behind her. Let's see. Right there. I'm going to worry about this edge here. There we go. And now we'll just, it really is just going to be in these small areas, just a little bit of bokeh, which is nice. Michael says, got to turn in for work tomorrow. Thanks, Mike, for hanging out. Thanks for the super chat. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at 12:30 for the bonus live stream. That would be amazing. Thank you for contributing to that, sir. Thank you for hanging out. Just make sure we have this well put down because I'm going to mix kind of a dark and a light color here. It's going to be really great. I'm going to test out the white mixture here, and we'll see what it does. I think I'm at a white mixture. I am. So I'm just going to put a little bit more in here, right? Put that in here. And always take your time. You know, there's never a rush. You know, even with a live stream, take your time. You know, you'll finish it when you're done. That's how I look at it. That's why I don't let people commission me, give me like really tight deadlines. I'm like, I'm not your man if you want a tight I'm like, you want it done right or you want it fast? Make up your mind, I tell them. So I'm going to see what the white does. Since this is a kind of a bluish color anyway, I think it will work out. So I'm going to make sure I keep my distance, maybe about 6 inches. Now I'm just going to hit some of these lighter areas. So remember, we want to hit the lighter areas first, because this way we avoid blue shifts. Further away, lighter the spray. Further away, the more dispersed the little paint droplets are. So you're going to see a lot of the background showing up. So it's a lot lighter here on this side. I'm going to get a little blue shift by her hair. Maybe I could avoid it in this little spot. A lot of times you see when towards the end of the painting, you're going to lose your original drawing because you're making corrections and that sort of thing. So I'm using my freehand shield to cover any areas that would get blue shift. So I think I'm going to do a series, not on the live streams, but on my own. I'm going to do a series of angels, which is going to be fun. So in the next painting, you guys want to see a color painting or a India ink painting? I really enjoy painting in Wicked because now I could paint on anything, right? That's the great thing about it. So I'm just creating some disparity, some differences here in the values. But the white is not creating a blue shift because the background's a blue-green anyway. Carry on with Wicked. Very cool. Who seconds Wicked for the next project here? We'll have maybe another week or two of this, and then we're done, and then we're going to do another one. So Astro likes the Wicked. Okay, so now I have a nice little kind of variation in the background. And now I want to come in with the darker value. There's this darker value. And so the first thing you want to do, just a little hint, even though I have my own Gideon system, I want to give a hint to you all. When you're trying to get a color, the first thing you want to do, so the color I want is the darks. The dark above the wing there. See this dark over here? So I'm going to ask myself, if I'm looking at my color wheel, I'll make this smaller. That's not what I wanted to do. Let me make this smaller. Bring this up. So if I want to find out what that color is, I'm going to ask myself, if I'm going to look at that as a hue, what would be the closest? And I would actually say it's almost a pure pure blue, a pure gray, but I would probably say like a blue-green, right? So blue-green is the color I want to start with, and then it's going to be mostly gray. Then I ask myself, what gray is it, right? So what gray would that be? I would say probably between the number 6 and the number 5 gray. So those are ways to get in the ballpark of it. So you break it down because the hue cannot be two hues at once. So you look and figure out what hue that color is, and then you ask yourself the value and how dark it is, how much saturation it has. You know, if you had blue-green come out of the tube, how much saturation would it be? So right here we have Wicked Opaque Teal, and that would be my hue. And then I would look at the gray between a 4 and a 5, right? And then I would figure these two colors, but that's still a little light. So let's go one darker. So I promised in the introduction I was going to give a really good, you know, idea on how to get a color, you know. But first you have to identify the hue, which is very important. So I would say this gray with a little tiny bit of teal. Because saturation could be all the way to gray, or it could be all the way to right out of the bottle. So that's a decision you have to make. So that will give you a ballpark. Now, my Gideon method will get you exactly where you want to be every time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tiny little bit of this cobalt teal in here. And I do mean tiny. And this is pretty thick, the Opaque Wicked. And I'm going to immediately mix this with some 4011 because you really can't do anything with it being this thick. And we're going to mix this first, like over here. And I'll give it a good mix. And that's a lot of paint because we need a smidgen of this. I'm going to use a second cup with that gray in there. Okay, so I'm excited about the live stream tomorrow. Thank you everybody for that. So does everyone agree with Astral? You like to see some wicked painting going on for the next project or painting? Let's see. Okay, here's our gray. And I just want to use a tiny bit of this cobalt teal. And maybe just a little bit more, but you can see how close we are already to our target color. It's ridiculous. Now this is not precise. My color theory is super precise, like ridiculously precise. So be on the lookout for that because it's going to change your life. That's the Gideon color, the Gideon color mixing method. Paraphrasing Jimmy Buffett, I don't care, just take us there. That's funny. Thanks, man. Okay, so now we have the Extreme Patriot 105. Love the airbrush. And now we're doing some bokeh or bokeh. Always test. Nothing coming out when I'm just holding down the air. So the Drew Blair method of just parking your airbrush with water is amazing. It has definitely changed the way I paint. So 3 cheers to Drew Blair out there. I mean, that has really changed the way I paint, so I have to thank him every time I do this. So this is nice. See, that's exactly what we're looking for. And look how fast I was able to mix that paint. So the first thing is you want to look for the hue. Any color in the world could only be in one of these spots around here. It can't be in two spots. It has to be in one. So that's important. Color is a science. It's not a skill. And that's what I do. I break things down to its simplest components. And that's what makes me, I feel, an effective teacher. Because, you know, if I just tell my students, it's really hard, you can be, one day you'll get as good as I am. No, it's, good teacher is like, no, you can do this. This is not hard. Let's break it down, and you'll see just how easy it is for the student to do it as well as the teacher, right? That's, you know, there's nothing great about, you know, just doing it and not being able to share it. Most of the great artists out there were great teachers. So I'm just, now I can kind of work on doing the bouquet in the background. The trick is to make sure I'm not equidistant or the same size with this. And hopefully we'll just create, we're just looking to create a little interest, right? That's all. There's really nothing going on in here. But we do have, oh, okay, so I'm going to use this color that I have to do some definition of the wing. So we're just going to play with this a little bit longer. Paintings kind of evolve, you know, they kind of come out of nowhere. Just, you know, slowly they just start, you know, becoming their own entity. You have your reference, but it's never going to be exactly what you're painting. I don't care who you are. It's gonna have its own life. And that's what I hope for you all, to have paintings that are just so, you know, such a surprise on where they came from. So let's lift this up. I don't want to go too dark. Drum roll, please. So thanks again for the super chats. 5 super chats means tomorrow bonus live stream. So that is fantastic. So for the last 2 weeks I'll be doing 4 live streams, which is great. Plus, on Saturdays I have my Emma Watson, the recorded series. And that's going to be part 4 of Emma Watson. And I think there's going to be a part 5 and then she's done. And then I have another great surprise I'm going to be doing on Saturdays. So on the recorded for a while, I'm going to keep doing the, you know, the India Ink series, which is going to be great. You always want to keep with the fundamentals, right? It's so important. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see, everybody. Okay, look, there's some interest back there. Not bad. So I like that. I think that's pretty good. So, and I'm going to kind of shy away from going into paintbrush techniques. I want to stay with the airbrush for a while. You know, I know a lot of people are looking for the airbrush technique, so I try and do as much as possible. And then, you know, when I'm working on the hair, tomorrow we'll do some paintbrush techniques, you know. Yes, Astral, drum roll. Definitely. Thank you for that, sir. And you know, we got a lot of detail to do in her face, some in her eyes. Then we're going to come in and do some of the highlights and dark accents. So we're not that far away from completing this amazing painting. Well, the painting's not amazing, the subject's amazing. So this amazing subject. So we're just going to cover her, and I'm just going to darken this area. That's going to separate her from her wing. Air Todd says he's still trying to figure out if he can do this standing up. He know Bill does. You mean paint standing up? You know, I do both. I mean, it's easier to paint standing up. But for me to teach, I need to be sitting, you know, because of the horizontal quality. So the camera can see. So I'm just making sure I get her shoulder correct. And here we go. Well, we don't want cast shadows, so I'm going to get the low profile erasers. So I want to use this dark turquoise color. Don't you guys and girls just love the teal, the turquoise color? Isn't it just an amazing color? I mean, it's one of my favorites. You don't see it that much in nature, but it is a beautiful color. Make sure we don't get any underspray. And now I'm just going to... Ooh, this is the light color, so it's good I double checked. I have two airbrushes going. One has the white and the other one has the turquoise gray. And now I'm just separating her wing from her shoulder. And we're going to put some magnets right on the edge, low profile magnets. So one of the things that are so important when painting is, you know, please don't think about the end, right, of the painting. Just go with it. Enjoy the process, right? Don't worry about it being ending. And I'm not going to oversaturate. I'm going to let it kind of cook a little bit, let it dry, and then do another layer. So remember, keep your layers dry and, thin. So you can always it's always better to do 3 thin layers than 1 thick layer. Think of it that way. That's a really good rule. I'm putting that in my book. It's better to do 3 thin layers than 1 thick layer. And that's in anything, whether it's airbrush, oil, pastel. Build it up, you know. And Astral says, depends on how many you had to drink. Astral's funny. If he spends too long on a painting, he has to put it aside because he gets fed up looking at it. It's interesting. So what a great comment by Mr. Astral. We all get there, don't we, where we're working on a painting and we really love it and we lose kind of that excitement, right? It kind of like, okay, back to the easel, back to this painting. But that's when we really have to, rekindle that love of what we began. And it's also important to remember that when we do kind of lose that love affair with the painting, is to realize that if you spend more time with it, it's going to get better and better. And that's what I do. So I know for me, I could be like, oh, I just want to get onto this next exciting idea I have. But remember, once you sign that painting, it's over. You can't go back. You should never go back to a painting after you signed it. That's it. It's a document. You can't go back and re-sign checks. You know, same thing. Once you sign it, you're saying that you did everything you can, and that's it. So, so really take your time and you know, make sure that you did everything you can to make it the best painting in your power. You know, that's so important. Okay, we're going to lift this up and see how good or bad it looks. Okay, so we have a nice separation. It's a little bit on the gray side. I'd like to have a little more color, so I might come in with an orange here. It's a little dead. So I'm just going to kind of extend this dark here, and I'm going to come and kind of do a layer of burnt orange over that, which would be nice. Now this is a real dead color I have in this airbrush. It's doing no favor to anything I paint with it because it's so low in saturation. So I'm not crazy about it. But can I use it for the hair? Not really. It's just too gray. Maybe, you know, this gray color. Let's see back here. I'll just glaze over, but I could kind of establish the hair a little bit better. Astral says, obviously, if he's paid for it, then it gets done. Of course, definitely. You know, I'm really referring to like something that is like a passion painting for yourself, something that, you know, is your idea and you love it, is to make sure you give it the, you know, we don't run out of gas. I find a lot of students run out of gas with a painting. And it's so important to, like I said, like you said, you know, step away from it and come back. Ah, Mr. Gary, thanks for coming. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a great weekend. Maybe I can see you tomorrow. That would be wonderful. And Gary, say hello to everybody, including Kyle. We're all rooting for him. And I know he's going to do great things as he already has. So take care, my friend. So that's cool. Gary's here. So Gary was here, and that's such an honor. He is such a cool guy. And so now we have some decisions to make. We don't want to be hasty, right? We want to take our time. And so what is something I can do that this painting needs? Well, I have this kind of dead gray, and I didn't really like this gray. However, what if I use it from a distance and try and kind of get this kind of cool shadow here in this wing? I think we can do that. So if you use it in concentrated form, when you're up close, it's kind of a yucky color. It works good for the bouquet in the background, but not for what we're looking for, you know, a very transparent kind of wispy shadow. So we can get that if we kind of increase our distance. We have a nice negative shape here in this feather. So the feather's coming along, which I'm nice and I'm happy. Just reinforcing some of these darks while I have this color in my airbrush here. And I really enjoy this painting. You know, I'm having a good time. So when I'm having a good time, you know, it helps me to be patient, right? It's a little bit grayer as we go towards the apex of her wing here. See how we can kind of darken it a little bit. So we're creating kind of a little atmosphere in the reflected lights of the inner part of her wing here. So now we can see if we can use our eraser to kind of get this lighter color in the negative space of her hair. I don't want to damage the painting, so damage the paint, so I'm going to tentatively try it. I could very well just mix this color and then attack it. So let's see what we got. Okay, so it's doing something. I mean, we can get rid of the excess and maybe come in with a light value, a light tone of this, right? But it's erasing nice. So this is a good lesson for those who love erasing, right? So that's fantastic. So think about it. In 13.5 hours, I'm going to be back here with part 10. And that's good because I think that's going to allow us to finish the angel next week. And then the week after, right around Thanksgiving, we could start the next painting. So that's great. You'd be surprised how long it takes me to plan out a painting, even something small like this. I plan it out and do a lot of prep work for it. Those who are in my mentorship program, I go real in depth how to create a painting from start to finish, from that idea in your head, right? And to take that idea in your head and bring that to life. And that's an important lesson. We all have great ideas, right? Every one of us. And I know you all have fantastic ideas. So I also want to glaze some really nice reds in her lips there. I want to make them a little bit more saturated. I really hated that gray in the hair from over here, so I'm going to work on getting rid of that. While I'm here, I'm going to do some erasing in her hair. Just setting up for the pencil, not the pencil, paintbrush techniques, which is good. And here I'm setting up, so I'll zoom in. So she has this little curly cue of a hair here, and it has a lot of negative space. So I'm going to set up for tomorrow when we work on her hair. We have some beautiful negative spaces. I love things like negative space. That's the stuff that really gets my blood going. So I talk a lot about fundamentals with baseball, football, chess, and that's what I really stress fundamentals. It's nice to do all the flashy stuff. That's all great and wonderful. But the fundamentals, that's what's really going to get you to a career in this thing, you know? I mean, you get your fundamentals down, you're going to be perfect. So think about that. Get those fundamentals down. These live streams are great because I talk about fundamentals a lot. It's very important, you know. You get the, you know, the things to do, you know, how to hold the brush, how to, you know, avoid blue shift, how to fix blue shift if it happens, anatomy, edge work, Those are the fundamentals that, you know, is that a high level that I learned in art schools in New York City. I was a scholarship student to the National Academy School of Fine Arts, the High School of Art and Design. Got offered scholarships to several other schools. I studied art history at Long Island University. So fundamentals, that's what you get from having that kind of education that I have. And so that's why this live stream is so important to me, because I'm able to give to great people like you that New York City art traditional art school experience. So I'm really happy to do that. So once again, thank you so much for the super chats, everyone. You all are so amazing. So now I'm going to mix up this blue, right? And so when you're thinking about that, remember we had this little, now like I said, my Gideon color theory method is a lot more exact, but I'm just giving you a little gift on how to mix color. So we know that the light color and the dark color are pretty much, they're related. So we will just kind of mix more of this lighter color, but with a lighter gray. So that's what we'll do. So get one of these color wheels. I don't want to hear anything about, I didn't get the color wheel. Buy the color wheel, hang it next to where you work, you know, where your painting is. These are the fundamentals. You know, all the flashy, you know, look at this wonderful painting we did. That's great and that's fantastic. But the fundamentals, this is what is going to get you where you want to be in art, whether it's painting, interior design, whether it's drawing, everything, believe it or not, this is going to handle it. This is going to help you. Perspective, anatomy, color theory, all those different things, edges are really important. That's the fundamentals that I stress here on the live streams. So, you know, no one can say that my live streams, people don't get a lot from them, but I really work hard so good people get a lot from them. It helps their painting, helps them grow as artists, and that's important to me. You know, that's so important to me. Okay, so now I'm looking at this color. So what gray would that be? Really light. So would it be, I would be maybe between number 2 and number 3. And, oh great, Mr. Airtod has that color wheel. You know, I have a video. I'll send you the link tomorrow. I have a link to how to use the color wheel, which is really great. It's gonna unlock this, how to use the color wheel. So that's good. So I need a value 2, right? And so here's a value 2 gray. See that? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my value 2 gray. Now with my method, I'm able to actually find out the exact measurement of how you mix a color. And that's coming soon. So that is going to unlock a lot of great things for you. And that's why I'm doing a lot with my presentations, getting that down, getting down the ability to do a super slick online course, because the Gideon color method is actually going to just open up worlds for you. It really is. All right, a little bit of this color, right? Your favorite color in mine? Well, not really our favorite color, but a nice color nonetheless. So we definitely need more of this blue. We're getting close. Look at that. We're actually super close, but we can use a little more of this turquoise or cobalt teal. The pigment for this is actually cobalt teal, but this is opaque teal by Wicked. And Mr. Gregory says he has seen it. It's kind of crazy. Thank you for that, sir. I appreciate you. And I'm just going to kind of dilute my cobalt teal here. So I started the day oil painting, and I'm going to end the day, this part of the day, airbrushing, and then later tonight, before I go to bed, I'm going to be oil painting. Tomorrow when I wake up, I'm going to be oil painting, then at 12:30 I'm going to be airbrushing, and in the evening I'm going to be oil painting and working with one of my grade students tomorrow night airbrushing. So it's pretty cool, you know. It's not a bad life if you're going to do something to make money. Yeah, look at that. I think I'm getting close. So let's see. It looks kind of gray, so maybe just a little bit more of that cobalt teal. Yeah, I think I have it. Maybe, maybe not, but we can always adjust, right? Dave says he has been searching his paints, sad at the moment of wicked paints he don't have right now. I guess it's time to buy more paint. That's it. I'm a bad influence. That's for sure, Dave. But as you can see, wicked paint is a lot of fun, you know. It just feels, and you know what it is? It's all the variety, right? The variety of values and colors is just so intoxicating. So I'm going to get rid of the white in the brush there, because that's going to mess with my value, and I don't need that. I don't need to make my job harder. Let's see. So another thing, you know, I'm a painter just like everyone else, and I have just as much talent as you all, no more. But the thing is, I do it a lot of hours, and I get some of these, you know, I get some moments where, you know, I was like, wow, that sucked. I did that. That didn't work out. And I'm able to teach you all that. So that's the good thing. So when I get experience, either good or bad experience, I could impart that to you all, save you some time. Now look at that. I think I have the exact value I'm looking for. So that's good. Now I want to get that inside color. So we did good. But I can't tell you how many times I have mixed the wrong color and it came out terrible. But it's the experience I have, the hours I put in, that I can help you all. So that's what I really enjoy. The helmet project needs a lot more stable paint than illustration. Oh yeah, it's definitely time to get wicked, Dave. That's for sure. So I can't wait to see the design and everything you're working on. Yeah, Autoborn sealer and all that fun stuff. See how we mix that color perfectly. And it's, remember, find the hue, right? It can't be two hues at one time. So just know that, you know, you're going to take your time, find the hue, find out how saturated it is, and then find the value. Just a little quick, how do I say, you know, introduction to how I mix paint. But this method that I have is so precise, you're just going to freak out. You know, you really are. So now I have this color, I have the ability to soften her wing. So let's make that happen. But first we're going to see how this reacts. Okay, so I'm going to show you all how I'm kind of going about this. Remember, edge work, and we're not looking for, we're not making up edges, you know, like we have to have a certain percentage of soft and hard edges. No, we look for the hard and soft edges in our reference. Now right here is a super soft edge. We have a hard edge because that's in our reference. So now I'm going to slowly put this light gray teal color and kind of build up a soft edge. Obliterate that edge. But we got to be careful, because if we create a blue shift or something, it could be bad, you know. And Nick says, Dave, do you have problems with the Autobone sealer peeling once in a while? Good question, Nick. Thank you for that. I'd love to hear that answer. So I'm just softening up this edge here. Now remember, 3 light coats is a lot better than 1 thick coat. When it's wet, it's going to look very light. That's okay. We'll just let it dry. So never get emotional, like, oh my God, it looks terrible. Let it dry. Let's see what happens, right? And then you zoom out, you can see how that's become very nice and beautifully soft here. So I'm actually using that light cobalt teal here, just to make sure that I am. Yes. So that's working really great, because it seems to be softening things up really nicely. Softening up the edges here. And Astral says, back in the 80s, he used the paint on helmets, but the government put out a warning that paints were weakening the structure when bikers had accidents. Wow, that's interesting. Did that go through? I mean, is it still those regulations, sir? Let's get our freehand shield, and let's make a hard edge. Right here, we'll make this hard edge. Just create a little bit of a hard edge here, a little bit of a variety. Soft edge over here. We're gonna hit these soft edges as it comes up here. Remember, it's a soft, beautiful wing, heavenly wing. Astral says, they started making polymer helmets, which had the problem, but fiberglass was okay. Nick said his first helmet he painted had unfortunate heat lamp accidents. Oh my, heat lamp incidents. Oh man, that's horrible. So, a lot of great experience out there. So let's continue to fix this negative space here. I'm going to use the sky color, and I'm going to hit some of these lights. Plastic melts, who would have thought? That's true. And then when I come in with the darks, that's really going to work. So like a chess player, this is like my middle game here. End game comes tomorrow. But now I have the sky color. It's going to create the light that is hitting her. So it works pictorially, and that's the way it looks in nature. A friend of mine, she has the most beautiful dark hair, and in the sunlight, the hair becomes like, the highlights become this amazing blue. It's just so incredible. Wish I had my airbrush right there just to paint it. And you can always, that on this side, that color looks really gross, so I'm going to come and fix that, you know. And so very cool. Let's see here. And you can, great thing about putting a light color, especially with hair, you can always come back and glaze a different value or different hue. I'm going to work on some of this over here. Dave says he may not be the best person to ask that question to. He's used Autobone sealer, but not too much. Yeah, but you stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. Remember those commercials? They're like, are you a doctor? He's like, no, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I love those commercials. Let's see. We are doing well. We are at 11:26, so getting close to finishing this live stream tonight. But we hit 6. We did 6 super chats, so we're going to have a bonus live stream tomorrow. I'm so excited. 12:30 Eastern Time, New York time. I'm going to soften up this part. We got some hard edges in her wing here we need to address before I go. Fundamentals, guys. Stuff that isn't exciting, but if you don't have it, it's going to hurt your work. So you got to have, I have to teach you all the fundamentals, right? Just the finer points of the game. You know, like I remember when I played baseball as a kid, proper, you know, proper way to hold the bat, proper way to run the bases, you know, knowing the infield fly rule, staying in front of the ball as opposed to trying to catch the ball off to the side. You know, that's the fundamentals that I share with everyone in these live streams. So I try to make sure that I give you, during the live streams, stuff that you would get at art school, that you'll take with you for the rest of your career. Oh, it's tomorrow at 12:30, Mr. Air Todd, 12:30 Eastern Time, so that would be 9:30 your time. So I hope to get to see you tomorrow. Take care, Todd. Thanks for hanging. Now it's going to look darker, sometimes lighter, so we have to wait for it to dry to see what it's going to do. And if it is lighter, we just gotta, if it is too dark, we just gotta come in and lighten it up, that's all. Oh, you're at work. Okay, but it'll be recorded so you can watch it after work, sir. So you see now we got this soft edge. We might have went a little overboard, so I'm gonna probably go darker there. I went too much. Oh, that would be great. That would be fantastic. Thanks, Wendy, for hanging out. It's always a pleasure. I'm so glad you came. And hopefully tomorrow, if you have time, 12:30, 11:30 your time, stop by. It'd be great to see you. The people have spoken. There's an 12:30 live stream on Thursday. 2 weeks in a row. And remember, part 4 of painting Emma Watson is going to be Saturday around 3 o'clock. But you'll all be alerted for that. And I'll email everybody if you're on my email list. I may put a little bit more of the bouquet back here, kind of to even it up maybe. Maybe tomorrow we'll concentrate on the hair. I'm not sure. But I definitely have to darken this up here. I went overboard. That happens. I go overboard now and then. All right, everybody. So we're at 11:30. Thank you so much, Mr. Dave, Colette, Michael, for the super chats. You all are so amazing. I really appreciate you. I appreciate everyone for hanging out on this Wednesday evening. We're doing good. She's coming along slowly. As long as she's coming along, that's all that's important. Oh, thanks, Astral. Always have fun hanging with you. Everyone, have a good night. Get some good rest, and I will talk to everyone pretty soon. Tomorrow, 12:30. Take care. Bye. Bye, guys.